Appreciate it. I got to say, Sheree, when I read your testimony, you were so credible because you weren't taking sides. You told a story that, this was your experience and it never felt shaded one way or the other. What I'm really interested in, I'm just going to be upfront about it. I listened to your testimony and I'm trying to figure out where is the crime that they're prosecuting Diddy for. And I'm wondering, when you had your discussions with prosecutors before they called you, did they explain where they were going? Because I was confused about that when you walked off the stand.
But honestly, that was my personal experience too, being confused. I remember when investigators first approached me in March of 2024. This was before any charges, allegations. I basically told them, "Hey guys, I have nothing for you. I didn't see any violence. I didn't get any cues to wanted to make more significance with the wincing and the sighing and the frustration. But even if I'm being honest, if in the moment I did not associate that stuff with her being in distress to doing anything against her will. And even in hindsight, I understand the allegations, but I would be misrepresenting the situation if I said the situations I was in would
Yeah.
translated. Even in hindsight, I cannot say, oh, those sounds or those wincings or those sighs were her in distress, because it just did not appear to be that.
Let's talk about the book.
Yeah, because
Being honest, if in the moment I did not associate that stuff with her being in distress to doing anything against her will, and even in hindsight, I understand the allegations, but I would be misrepresenting the situation if I said the situations I was in would
Yeah.
translated. Even in hindsight, I cannot say, oh, those sounds or those wincings or those sighs were her in distress, because it just did not appear to be that.
Let's talk about the book.
yeah, because
How you guys doing? What's going on? We have some drama for you guys. Kid Cudi, he testified today, and you will be surprised some of the things that he said. He said that Cassie played him and Diddy. Could you believe it? Yes. People were also talking about his attire. People were saying that, he did not dress like very professional. He had on jeans, very relaxed, not too serious. We do have video footage of him going into the court that I want to play with you guys, and let's talk about what exactly he said. Now, he did talk about how Diddy bombed his car, okay? But again, a lot of people are saying this is not a RICO. What is a RICO? RICO is when you're doing crimes and you're profiting off. You're getting money from these crimes. And people are saying, well, how is Diddy getting money from bombing Kid Cudi? How is he getting money from him and Cassie doing all these freak-offs? Which a freak-off, in my mind, I thought it was going to be like a big orgy or like groups of people. That is not what they're calling a freak off in this case. It's just Diddy like to be in the background where he's not seen. He doesn't come in contact with any of these men. And Cassie, she is messing around or sleeping around with all these different escorts. And Diddy, I guess he gets off on watching. I believe they have a term for that. I believe it's called a cup hold or something like that. Look it up. It is a term, but they're not using a term here. They're using a freak off because I think it sounds more dramatic. So let's get into some things. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe here at the Messy Sweet Spot, okay? So I do have it here. Oh, forgot to put record. All right, so as you guys can see, we are at TMZ. Put this up. Kid Cudi trial. Kid Cudi says he was played by Cassie. And some people are like, what's going on? I see Cassie is not that innocent. Well, we've been told you that. I mean, come on now. Anytime you are trying to get into Hollywood, you're not innocent. She makes freaky songs when she was 18. It's me and you. Hey. I know about freaky songs, okay? And that song was definitely about fornication at 18 as a child, and she wanted to get in the industry, and she wanted to be somewhat of a sex symbol. So you already know, going as sex symbols at 18 remind me of those 18-year-old girls that is on OnlyFans page. They want some type of attention. They want to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. Do what you got to do. But a lot of people had in their mind that Cassie was this angel, that she is a virgin. They treated her like like Mary from the Bible. Pretty much, she didn't know anything about sexuality. Diddy was the one that introduced her to, head and all this freaky stuff. And she was just so innocent and she didn't know what was going on. And to me, it was like, if she's that innocent, then why is she even meeting with Bad Boy? If she is this innocent girl that they're trying to portray, which doesn't make sense, why does she want to go to Hollywood? I would think that type of girl would be going to college, trying to do something like be a doctor or a nurse, or maybe going into church or something like that, ministry, But the girl they paint, Hollywood girls that's trying to make it into Hollywood as a sex symbol, honey, they are far from innocent. Okay, I know. Okay, I know these girls. All right, so let's go on here. But I say that because everybody have in their mind, it's not right to put your hands on a woman. It's not right. For no man, to Diddy, to Chris Brown, to Tory Lanez, it's not right. When we're talking about some of these girls are not innocent, it does not take away. We're trying to say that, these men are innocent too. Come on, you guys, use your brains, okay? This man could be a horrible man to put hands on a woman, and also the girl cannot be as innocent as you guys trying to make her to be. Sorry about that. So I'm trying something new because I can't really get this mic together. So I was like, what if I use it as like a hairpin? So that's what I'm trying to do, but it's a struggle because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. You know what? How about this? I don't want to do it, but how about I just do it like this? All right. So let's go here. I'm going to click here. Bear with me. Sorry about that. All right, here it is. Kitty says Cassie played him like a fiddle during the 2011 fling. When I first heard about it, I felt that was very selfish of Cassie. If I'm getting my butt beat, I'm not going to drag anybody into it. If I know this man is crazy and I'm so scared of him, I'm not going to drag another man in a situation unless this man can take out Diddy. If you cannot take out my enemy, then what are we doing? I'm not just going to be freaking off with you just for the sake of freaking off. And I guess the only thing that Kid Cudi could provide is a freak off for them to have sex. But other than that, he's not going to protect you. Kid Cudi feel like, if I'm scared of you, I'm not going to involve another man involved unless he can beat you up or take you out of here. If he can't do that, then I don't need you because I need a man that's going to protect me at this point. So, she decided to mess around and fornicate with different random guys during the time where she knew allegedly like her life was in danger. And honestly, I felt like if Diddy wanted to take her out, he would have been took her out. I mean, she left Diddy, relationship because she never lived with Diddy. And I did not know that. I had the idea that she lived with Diddy. She never lived Diddy. Diddy never wanted her around the kids. She was not a stepmother to the kids. She didn't have this motherly relationship with these kids. They were not that as people were trying to make it seem. She had her own place. Diddy played for her own place, and when a guy pays for you and give you stuff, you don't take it, especially if you don't want to be bothered with him, if you're out and a guy offers something, say, no, thank you. But I know people say, well, I got to say yes because I'm afraid that he's going to whip my ass. So are you going to live in fear for the rest of your life? You got to figure something out. Either you're going to have to figure something out because living in fear for the rest of your life is not it. When you don't have to in this time, I understand in the past, but hell, maybe we're going back into those times. I don't know. Use your pepper spray, use your pow. You guys have that right to carry. So you better start, thinking about these things. But women are standing up for themselves. I'm hearing women on the news every day taking a man out. Okay. So let's continue here. They say the pursuit of happiness rapper Diddy. Cudi admitted he felt like he was played by Cassie when he told him the things were over with Diddy. Of course she played you. Hell, Of course she did. She put you in that mix. I mean, people were saying, well, she broke up with him to save his life. No, you endangered his life. When you get yourself involved with me, say for instance, if I'm dealing with a man and he has a crazy baby mama, you are and put me in that bullshit. Don't come to my door. I don't want to be involved with any man that has a crazy baby mama and you know she's not over you. You know she keeps tabs on you. Do not come on my door. I'm not going to help you in that situation. And you're just selfish if you think you can just spend time with me and get involved with me, knowing that you got a killer on the loose that's after you. I think that is very selfish for anyone to. All right. So Cudi admitted that he felt like he was played by Cassie when he told him when she told him things were over with Diddy, which is a lie. Only for her to get back with Diddy after they broke up. So clearly she has some type of feelings for him, or allegedly she was afraid of him. If you're afraid of this man, why involve other people? That's very selfish. It says Diddy defense attorney Brian, she played you. Cudi said yes, still followed you. You had no clue that Cassie was back with Diddy. Cudi said no clue. She should have informed homeboy, like, listen, I'm back with the crazy dude or something. But she's gonna do what she wanna do. Okay? How do I feel about Kid Cudi dating with Cassie? I think that it was a bad situation anyway. I don't know. I think that Kid Cudi could have did better. I think she's a beautiful girl, but outside of her looks, what else is there, you know? And usually girls that are just about their looks, usually they want to be taken care of. And when you want a guy to take care of you, you don't think he's going to take care of you he's going to want some type of control. That's why it's good if you don't want these guys to try to dictate you or feel like they have something over you, stop taking shit from them. If they offer you some money, place to stay, no thank you, because nothing in life is free. A man is not going to give you a house for free. A man is not going to give you things for free. It's just not happening. We know this. All right. So let's keep on moving on. I'm going to see what they're saying here in the comment section. They are saying, starting to think that Cassie isn't as innocent as she seemed. Y'all clearly don't know the cycle of abuse. Well, a lot of us don't know the cycle of abuse, and that's a good thing because that means that a lot of us don't deal with abuse. But, you know, if people are saying that, you know, abuse is something else, I think it's different levels. I know people in abusive relationships that would say the same thing that a lot of people are saying, and some vice versa. I'm sure some people that's never been in an abusive relationship feel some type of way. I think it's all about belief. Everybody believes differently. You know, everybody thinks differently, and you can't force people to, okay, you got to see it like I see it because it's the right way. No, that's your belief, you know? And I think, I don't know, prevention is key. When you guys are getting these men, you guys need to have conversations with these men before you get in bed with them. And that's not happening. The conversation, the communication, you guys need to have serious, political, ideology so you can understand how he feels. If he believes in the patriarchy, a lot of them that believes in the patriarchy maybe feel like it's okay for them to hit you. Maybe they say they won't, but I think that's a red flag if they believe in the patriarchy. Talk to them about the Cassie case. What are your views on that? Talk to them about all these other cases, the Amber Heard case. Talk to them. You guys need to have conversations about these cases. And if it does not align with your views, then don't get in bed with him, despite how good he looks, despite how he makes you feel. Your feelings is what gets you in trouble anyway, because you're feeling something and you feel like it's real and it's real love, and it's not. Your feelings are deceiving you because you don't have good judgment when it comes to your feelings. So that lets you know you should not lean into your feelings, because every time I get into my feelings, I'm always getting involved with a man that's putting his hands on me. I'm always getting involved with a man that's putting me down. That lets you know you don't have good judgment. Stop leading with just your feelings and start leading with some logic and some intelligence, and you can decipher, you know what, you have too many red flags. Don't tell them that, but just walk away in the beginning, you know? So let's move it on. It says she left Cudi because Diddy was dangerous and broke into Cudi's house. Please get all the info before saying that Cassie is not innocent and is playing with men. Okay. So that is how some people feel. Everybody's not going to see it like that. They're trying so hard to make us blame a woman. Diddy is definitely going down. He's a egomaniac who's willing to hurt everyone. Now, he is an egomaniac, but he's not on trial for being an egomaniac. So people are looking for you guys to say, hey, this is a RICO because he makes so much money off of this. This is a crime because he made X amount of money off the drugs, which he was not selling drugs. He brought drugs to the parties, but he didn't sell them to make a profit. And yes, the RICO with the $20,000. They are saying that Cassie mom was blackmailed by Diddy, and she paid Diddy $20,000, and they said that could be the RICO, you know. But they also said that Diddy later, 2 days after that, gave her the money back. So he did not make any income because he gave the money back. So I don't know how that's going to work. Okay. I don't understand. None of this proves RICO or sex trafficking. And that's absolutely. And it was a guy, one of the escort guys said they really forced him to testify. He said he didn't want to testify. He said he didn't have anything. He didn't see anything with Cassie. Yes, people are saying, I understand none of this proves a RICO or trafficking, and that's absolutely right. Okay. It does not. Even the escort guy, the Punisher, he came out, he had an interview with TMZ, and he said he told the cops that he didn't have anything. He didn't witness anything. He might have heard like an argument in the next room, but he never bear witness. He didn't see the scars, even though people are saying he saw the scars, but the Punisher, and I will put the video up here with the interview with TMZ, he said he ain't never seen no scars. He never saw abuse or anything. He just having erection issues. And I'll put that interview so you guys can see it from the horse's mouth, what he said. But he said he was not trafficked. He said that he was in New York, I guess Harlem, and it happened in New York City. So it did not go across state lines. And it seemed like...
Appreciate it. I got to say, Sheree, when I read your testimony, you were so credible because you weren't taking sides. You told a story that, you know, this was your experience, and it never felt shaded one way or the other. What I'm really interested in, I'm just going to be upfront about it. I listened to your testimony, and I'm trying to figure out where is the crime that they're prosecuting Diddy for. And I'm wondering, when you had your discussions with prosecutors before they called you, did they explain where they were going? Because I was confused about that when you walked off the stand.
But honestly, that was my personal experience too, being confused. I remember when investigators first approached me in March of 2024. This was before any charges, allegations. I basically told them, "Hey guys, I have nothing for you. I didn't see any violence. I didn't get any cues to her being in distress, and any cues or anything that I mentioned, which I did say there was some wincing and some sighing and stuff. That was in hindsight. If there was never any allegations, I would have never even perceived it as being an issue to even point out. So I'm just as confused as you. I still to this day I'm like, I don't know why I testified. I always believed my testimony, if it was any benefit, might have benefited the defense.
When I read your testimony and you're talking about Cassie paying you and Cassie dressing up and kind of prompting you, I kind of had the same feeling you did, which was that's what the defense is arguing, that this was kind of a consensual sexual liaison.
And even if Diddy, and I know you did say at points that Diddy did make some payments, that she would make the initial, I guess, down payment, and then he would pay more when the encounter was over. But you weren't, to be clear, you were never transported, as the indictment is, so you weren't transported across state lines.
This was all in New York, and you live in New York,
correct?
right?
Exactly. At the time, I lived in Harlem, and all of the encounters happened in New York hotel. So again, like when this stuff started, I was like, look, there's no way I can associate with trafficking. I'm all in the same state.
Right.
So I'm still confused myself, honestly.
It's so interesting because we wanted to have you on because I thought maybe prosecutors told you something beforehand because I was so confused when you got off the stand. I didn't realize you shared the confusion.
The only thing I can assume, and this is an assumption because we didn't have the conversation, was I think they wanted to make more significance with the wincing and the sighing and the frustration. But even if I'm being honest, if in the moment I did not associate that stuff with her being in distress to doing anything against her will. And even in hindsight, I understand the allegations, but I would be misrepresenting the situation if I said the situations I was in would translate it. Even in hindsight, I cannot say, oh, those sounds or those wincings or those sighs were her in distress because it just did not appear to be that.
Let's talk about the book.
Yeah, because
He said that the people, the feds or whatever, they are reeling people in. You know, it's not even Cassie making these phone calls. It's somebody at the top that's pushing this. So that's interesting. And then another thing about the patriarchy, man, you know, a lot of people talk about, I want a traditional man, but your traditional man back in 1930s, voted for men to hit on a woman. Okay. The traditional man may not be the man that you really want because traditionally back in the day, it was normal for husbands to grape their wives, for husbands to slap. You guys really need to know your history back in 1930s and 1920s about these traditional men, because traditional man is nothing but reserved from ideologies from the past. So you talk about, I want a traditional man. But you don't want this from the traditional man. You don't want this. Do you really want a tradition, or you just saying that? I just think that a lot of people are just talking. They want somebody to pay their bills. They want somebody to open the doors, but everything else a traditional man comes with, they don't want. A traditional man is going to control. A conditional man is going to expect you to cook and clean and shut the fuck up. Okay. That is how they were back in the day, and that was normal. Okay, you guys don't want traditional world. You don't want to go back there, I promise you. Okay, the traditional world was anti-Me Too. But let's continue on. The woman is not a victim. Release Diddy. Now, they're trying their hardest to justify Diddy and put everything about her down. All right. But like I said, this is not about Cassie. This is not about Diddy being an abusive guy or Diddy being a monster. It's about Diddy, RICO. RICO, a crime. Think about an organized crime that you're making money out of. Okay. That's illegal. He's not making any money. Okay. And everything that he's doing, prostitute, that is a crime. But to make it a RICO, I don't think it's going to fall for that. So I don't know if they just going to charge him based on prostitution. I don't know if they can charge him based on abuse. I don't think so, because they said again, this is not a DV case. So you cannot charge him on him hitting a woman. Him hitting on these women, you can't charge him for that because this is not a DV case, it's a RICO. You only can charge him about him having an organized mafia, making a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? And using Cassie to make a whole bunch of money. He was not prostituting Cassie out. Cassie was not bringing in a whole bunch of money. You know, did Cassie make money? Was these men paying Cassie? They was not paying Cassie. Cassie and Diddy was paying them. Okay, so they weren't making money. They were giving out money. They were giving out drugs, but they didn't make money off of drugs. But we have to see how the jury feels about that. So it says here, Kid Cudi says the Porsche was torched by a cocktail. Diddy is a supervillain, all right? So he's a bad MFer. He's like any other mafia kingpin. All right. So it says, so he blew up his car, broke into his home and hurt his dog, and you didn't call the police. Why not? Well, you got to understand, if people are street people ain't going to do all that. I don't know no street person that's going to allow another man to break in their car or do some shit like that, and they call the police. They going to handle that shit themselves. Okay. They're not gonna rely on the police because they know a lot of times the police is their enemy. So they're not gonna do that. So I think people that have that mindset, they live in a whole different world. I do believe that we as Americans, we do live in a whole different world. A lot of us have a different perception, a different reality, a different belief, and we're not all the same. We're all different. Okay, so I think that person just don't understand, certain lifestyles. Now, Kid Cudi, I don't know what type of lifestyle he is. I don't know if he's street. I don't think he's street. Okay, and I did see some videos and pictures of him with a dress on. Let's go back. It was a post that I posted to Kid Cudi, and he had a dress on. And a lot of people then was like, oh my God, that gotta be fake. Why is it fake? No, let me show you. All right, so here it is. I mean, a lot of these rappers put dresses on. Y'all act so crazy. So here's Kid Cudi in the dress. He wore dresses all the time. Now, is he straight gay? For Hollywood and a lot of people, and some people, you guys make it a big deal. I mean, it ain't nothing but clothes and a dress. But he wore multiple dresses on many occasions. That's why I don't think he's street, because I don't know too many street men. But I guess Future, he wore a dress too, and he went back to street. I don't know, honestly. But just to let you guys know, the dress photos of him is not Photoshop. Now, is he bisexual? I don't know what he is, but if he is bisexual or down low, it let you know that Cassie has a type for down low men. I do believe that her husband, Alex, is bisexual and down low. I really do. And some girls just like down low or like DL or like bisexual men. It is a thing. It's not spoken out, but some girls don't mind, and some girls actually prefer that type, believe it or not. All right, so this is Kid Cudi. I believe this is a transcript they have up here. It says, next witness, Cudi takes the witness stand in a leather jacket, white shirt, and blue jeans. So, like I said, I bring you guys, here is...
Are you nervous to testify today?
What are you expecting today?
You look great.
Great.
I love the fit, not too serious.
All right, I bet he's like, this is a damn circus. Okay, can you imagine going to the building and seeing all these paparazzis like a freak show, like you're about to go to a award show, and it's supposed to be something serious. But the whole tone in the media is like a freak off circus. Like, if you wanted to take it serious, it's hard to do so because everybody makes jokes about it. It's just like, okay. But anyway, moving on. It says here, I'm an actor and a musician. That's what he's known for. We dated in 2021. Talking about him and Cassie. Who else was involved? He said Sean Combs. What did you know about their status? Kid Cudi says that she and Sean had some problems and they weren't dating anymore. That's what she told him. Okay. So she never told him the horrible. All right. So going here, it says, what was the demeanor? Oh yeah. So she didn't tell him that, hey, he's whooping my ass or anything. Listen, I think that you have to tell somebody. If a guy is getting involved with me, I need you to tell me, hurry up in the first couple of days. If you have a girl that's whooping your ass, or you have a girlfriend that's crazy, or if you have an ex-girlfriend, it could be an ex too, that's dealing with mental illness. I don't think it's fair for me for you to come into my life and you have an ex that's crazy or deals with mental illness. I think that's something serious. That's nothing to play with, because when they start knocking on your door and harming you to get to you, I think you're putting me in danger. And I think that's very selfish of you. If you scared, don't come over here. Call the cops, call on Jesus, pray about it, go to Allah, whatever you got to do, but don't come over here. Okay. And that's how I feel about that. I'm not street. You know, maybe a street chick, maybe she don't care, she bout it, she ain't scared, but I'm scared. So don't involve me in no bull crap. Okay, it says, what was her demeanor? Very stressed and worried. Where did you guys go? The Sunset Marquis. Why? I thought it was safe, off the radar. Who else did you speak with? Clark, she sounded near tears. What did she say? The shine in the car near my house. Okay, ooh, this is a lot of shit. Okay, well, listen, I'm not about to read all this. I save it for a live if we decide to do a live about this. But that's all the updates. It was supposed to be really short, and it ended up being too damn long. Comment, let us know what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.